Imagine a woman of incomparable beauty. In ancient Japan, she was the legendary poet, Ono no Komachi. Her grace was so celebrated that her name remains a synonym for beauty in Japan even 1,000 years later. But what happens when that legendary beauty meets the one thing no one can escape? Death. What if you were asked not to look away but to stare directly at her body as it swells, ruptures, and eventually dissolves into the earth? Welcome to the world of Kusozu. Kusozu is a traditional genre of Japanese Buddhist art that depicts the 9 stages of a decaying corpse. Why did ancient artists paint such gruesome scenes? To understand Kusozu, we must understand the concept of Asubha-bhavana, or the contemplation of impurity. In early Buddhism, monks would go to charnel grounds, places where bodies were left out in the open, to meditate. They watched the corpses rot. Their goal was to shatter their own egos. By staring at the impurity of the body, they sought to extinguish lust and attachment. They realized that the physical form they desired in others, or cherished in themselves, was temporary, nothing more than a vessel that would inevitably fall apart. In Japan, this evolved into a central philosophy called Mujō, the transience of all things. Nothing lasts forever. Beauty fades, power crumbles. Kusozu was created as a visual manual for this meditation. It served as a mirror, forcing the viewer to ask, if my body is destined for this, what is truly important in my life? While Kusozu means 9 stages, most scrolls actually show 11 scenes. This is because they add a before and an after, showing the person while they were still alive, and the ground after they have vanished. Seeing this full cycle is what makes the lesson of impermanence truly hit home. Let's follow the transformation of the beautiful Ono no Komachi. 1. Life. Seizen. We begin with the woman alive. She is radiant, dressed in exquisite silk robes. This scene represents our world of illusion, the belief that beauty and youth are permanent. 2. Just after death. Shiso. The moment of passing. She looks as if she is merely sleeping, but the spark is gone. Beauty has shifted from a living presence to a fading memory. 3. Swelling. Choso. After a few days, the body bloats. Gases build up, distorting the features that were once so admired. Nature begins its work. 4. The skin bursts. Iso. The skin finally breaks under the pressure. As the internal structure collapses, it serves as a painful reminder of how fragile the human body truly is. 5. Leaking fluids. Kechizuso. Dark fluids begin to leak out, staining her fine robes and the ground beneath her. Blood, once the very symbol of life and vitality, now becomes a sign of disintegration. 6. Melting away. Noranso. The body begins to liquefy, as if melting away. The painting spares no detail, showing the moment when the human shape is lost entirely. 7. Turning blue and black. Shoso. What remains turns dark shades of blue and black. The self is vanishing. The face that once inspired poetry is now unrecognizable. 8. Being consumed. Tanzo. Wild dogs, crows, and insects arrive. They do not do this out of cruelty, but out of necessity. In the Buddhist view, the body is finally serving a new purpose, sustaining other lives in the great cycle of nature. 9. Scattering. Sanso. The remains are torn apart and scattered. The boundary between the individual and the earth begins to blur. 10. Bones. Kotsuso. Only the skeleton remains. The eyes that saw the world and the lips that spoke are gone. We are left with the bare structure, the cold, white clarity of what we fundamentally are. 11. Ashes. Shoso. The final stage. The bones crumble into dust or are consumed by ritual fire. The wind carries them away. There is nothing left of the woman called Komachi, only the truth of her poems and the lesson of her passing. Why was the subject almost always a beautiful woman? In the history of these paintings, the beautiful woman represented the ultimate object of worldly desire. There is a famous legend of Empress Danrin, a woman of immense power and beauty in the 9th century. She was a devout Buddhist and left a shocking final request. "When I die, do not bury me. Leave my body on the roadside. Let the people watch me rot so they may understand the truth of impermanence." This was her final act of compassion, using her own body as a textbook to help others find spiritual awakening. In our modern world, we go to great lengths to hide death. We use cosmetics to hide aging and funeral parlors to hide the reality of the end. Kusozu acts as a Japanese version of Memento Mori. Remember that you must die. But this isn't meant to be depressing. By accepting that our time is limited and our bodies are temporary, we can let go of petty vanities and toxic attachments. Kusozu asks us, if everything is fleeting, how will you choose to live right now? How will you treat the people around you today? When we stop running from the reality of death, we can finally start living with true clarity and kindness. Everything changes. Everything fades. And in that truth, there is a strange, quiet peace.